after I discussed with a lot of entities, I decided, I think that was in a shower, after olahraga lagi shower, and then I think it is Dana. I want to join Dana gitu ya.
So during the shower moment ya Pak ya.
Yeah.
Halo teman Dana, selamat datang di Waktu Senggang. Kali ini kalian ditemenin oleh Sasa, dan di episode kali ini kita akan ngobrolin topik yang menarik banget. Sebelumnya kita mau ucapin terima kasih banyak karena teman-teman udah nonton Waktu Senggang sampai sekarang ini. Nah, kalau kemarin-kemarin kita udah ngomongin banyak banget topiknya, mulai dari kesehatan mental, musik, lalu investasi finansial, sampai dengan Jakarta Fair Kemayoran. Kali ini topiknya nggak akan kalah menarik karena kita akan ngobrol-ngobrol tentang kehidupan seorang Chief Technology Officer di Dana Indonesia. Tapi kita mau ingetin dulu nih teman-teman, kalau misalkan kalian bisa transaksi pakai Dana, dan kalau kalian butuh bantuan ataupun ada kendala, bisa langsung hubungi customer care ataupun langsung ke aplikasi Dana karena ada pusat resolusi yang siap bantuin kamu. Nah, pakai Dana, hidup bebas cemas. Kita mau perkenalin dulu, beliau itu pernah mendapatkan nilai matematika 10 sempurna saat ujian nasional di SMA ya. Lalu beliau juga pernah menjadi peringkat 1 di Indonesia CrossFit Open 2021. Dan di tahun 2020 pernah mendapatkan penghargaan World Top 25 Fintech CTO and Asian CIO 50. Lalu di tahun 2021 beliau juga pernah diundang menjadi Global Forbes Technology Council dan mendapatkan Award Asian CIO 75. Oke, tanpa berlama-lama lagi langsung saja kita sambut Pak Norman Sasono. Halo. Halo Pak, apa kabar?
Halo, baik-baik. Terima kasih, sehat. Thank you udah diundang.
Nah, tadi kan kita udah sempat singgung nih kalau Bapak tuh pernah mendapatkan nilai 10 sempurna di pelajaran matematika ya Pak pada saat ujian nasional di SMA. Nah, kita boleh tahu nggak sih, mungkin teman-teman juga pengen dengar kenapa awal mulanya Bapak bisa suka pelajaran matematika?
Dari kecil somehow tiba-tiba suka aja sama math gitu ya. Karena kayaknya kok gampang gitu, at least for me ya. Mungkin bagi banyak orang mungkin sulit, tapi for me I really enjoying it gitu. Jadi dulu kalau pas belajar matematika atau ada ulangan matematika, I really like it karena I don't have to study for the test gitu. I just can like go bring it on and I can just do it gitu. Sementara kalau pelajaran lain gitu ya kayak sejarah gitu ya atau PMP, PPKN, I was really struggling gitu. Jadi kayak it was so hard. Nah somehow math kayak it's just click. It's not that I'm a math wizard gitu yang jago banget math. Kalau ada soal hitung-hitungan kali-kalian I can do that fast. No, I'm not. I can see patterns, terus I can recognize variables, and then relationship between variables. Jadi more of a pattern recognition. Terus I really like the logical structural integrity of math gitu ya. Proof, kemudian ada conjecture, dibuat proof lagi. Terus I was really enjoying math like an art or poetry gitu. Jadi math itu nggak harus applicable, harus implementable, harus bisa dipakai. Math itu bisa di-enjoy for the sake of the math itself within its intrinsic beauty gitu. Terus juga mungkin dulu di sekolah guru-guru mathnya fun gitu ya. Karena menurut saya sih yang really make an influence whether a student will love or hate math adalah gurunya. Kalau gurunya nggak inspiratif atau dia like really a killer gitu, kayaknya hard to make people like math.
Hard to connect ya Pak ya.
Iya.
Mungkin kalau kita boleh throwback atau flashback gitu, momen yang paling memorable pas di masa muda Pak Norman tuh apa? Atau masa kecil Pak Norman?
So I'm not young.
Still young at heart.
I think I was very lucky. I was born and raised di Bali. Jadi kalau orang sekarang kan ke Bali itu healing, for me it's pulang kampung. My parents masih live di Bali, my sister juga masih live di Bali. So I grew up and raised di satu daerah yang namanya Sanur di Bali. Sekarang kalau orang mau ke Nusa Penida harus lewat Sanur. And then di Sanur itu dulu my house itu mungkin cuma sekitar 100-200 meter from the beach. gitu.
Wow,
Jadi
that's
kalau
nice. Yeah.
kalau malam tidur, I can really hear gitu waves gitu. Jadi dulu
Peaceful.
ngerasa biasa aja gitu ya. Tapi sekarang when I look back, I was like, I was really really lucky. Terus in that environment juga jadinya I grew up in international exposure environment gitu, karena tetangga-tetangga atau teman sekolah zaman dulu, many of them itu mixed gitu. Jadi ada
culture,
Indonesia, Prancis, Jepang, Turki, Australia, Amerika. Jadi I get used to international exposure, speaking English since I was little. Something yang mungkin kalau orang yang nggak punya that exposure will be hard gitu ya. Sama di satu sisi, I can really have toleransi terhadap agama, terhadap ras dan sebagainya, karena I grew up in an environment di mana itu happening gitu. So I think if I look back, those are the most memorable things when I was a kid.
Yeah, so it's the environment and friends. Ya, dapat juga maksudnya sampai sekarang tuh Bapak lebih toleransi memiliki toleransi yang tinggi. Wah, keren banget ya teman-teman. Jadi mungkin tadi kan Bapak suka matematika atau misalkan tadi menjadi peringkat 1 di CrossFit gitu. Apakah itu related to that? Jadi Bapak disiplin bagaimana?
Okay. So actually I'm not the most disciplined people. Gitu ya. I'm still learning, I'm still trying, I'm still pushing myself. Tapi lebih ke ini, bahwa I really realize bahwa I should be in control of my own life. I should be in the driver's seat. I should be the one making decisions of what I will do or how to respond to anything in life. To events, at work, at life, to people. Some people are nice, some people are not nice. But then how I will respond to the event or to the people is within my control gitu kan. So it started from there. Jadi I'm the one who's in charge of my life. Nah, habis itu, I have goals. I want to achieve certain things. Ya, I want to have achievement to meet my targets. Filosofinya adalah I always want to be the best possible version of myself. So I set some goals, gitu kan. And then maybe this is where I am today in terms of professional life, at work, atau di CrossFit, atau di anything lah. So I want to be here, but right now I'm here. So I know exactly there is a gap, and I know exactly what I should do to be there. So I need to take small step each and every single day to meet that goal. Nah, jadi if I'm relying on motivations, that will be hard. Karena motivations itu kadang ada, kadang hilang. Habis baca buku atau nonton video tentang motivational topics, I will be supercharged, motivated. Tapi after a week or two, it's just gone. I don't feel motivated anymore. Gitu ya. So I figured out bahwa I cannot rely on motivations, but I can rely on discipline. Jadi misalnya I wake up 4:30 every day in the morning. I work out almost every day. I only rest on Sunday gitu kan. And then CrossFit is hard. Gitu. I do that workout and then after that shower and do the work. So every day, I always have a choice gitu kan. Misalnya jam 4.30 alarm bunyi, do I want to continue to sleep atau do I want to wake up?
That's a choice.
So, that's a choice. I choose to wake up because I want to train so that I can achieve my goal. Gitu. Jadi, it doesn't matter whether I'm motivated or not. It's just I have to wake up. And I tell myself, I want to wake up and I want to do things. Nah, itu translate ke anything. At work, at life in general. Jadi, ke bawah. Jadi, that waking up early in the morning, every day consistently doing the workout, itu kayak simulasi kecil bahwa I can defeat that. I can be in control. I can choose what I want to do. So in everything, let's say at work and life, I get used to make that decisions gitu ya. Jadi we should be the one yang in charge. Tapi ya sometimes we need to listen to our body juga. Sometimes mungkin kita kecapean gitu ya, because of work, kurang tidur dan segala macam, dan kita sakit. Nah kalau misalnya kita sakit itu artinya ya your body forced us to rest, gitu kan. I'm no longer in control. Our body forced us to rest. Tapi before that happen, I can still be in control, controlling my sleep time, controlling what I eat every day, controlling my mental state, and a lot of stuff, so that my body always at its peak condition. Jadi nggak sempat sakit, and my body force me to rest and stay in bed.
Yeah, true.
Tapi kalau memang udah sakit, ya udah misalnya ketularan virus or whatever, ya udah. We should listen. Gitu.
Those that we cannot control ya guys.
Exactly.
Oke. Kalau misalkan nih, kalau tadi kan lebih ke personal life Pak Norman gitu ya. Kalau yang pertama sih kita pengen tahu nih, atau teman-teman pengen tahu gitu, ceritanya mungkin dulu Pak Norman apakah karirnya diawali dengan magang atau langsung full time atau gimana?
Maybe I would like to share something interesting gitu ya. Jadi my first paycheck itu not from engineering or any software development work, but actually from a gig in a band playing di cafe. So that's my first paycheck gitu. Jadi waktu itu zaman kuliah, udah tinggal skripsi, nggak ada kelas, banyak bengong selain skripsi. Terus ada teman-teman ngajakin main band, kita main di panggung-panggung di sekitar kampus, and then ada yang ngajakin go profesional main di restoran dan cafe gitu. Terus why not? So that's what I did. Jadi totally different from now ya. And then in terms of career, dulu pas kuliah I studied engineering physics. Jadi fisika teknik. Jadi fokus di instrumentation and control engineering. Very geeky stuff. Very hardcore in math and physics. Fisika dan matematika lah. A lot of people hate that, but I really love those gitu kan. So and then most of my career, and then I work as a software engineer gitu. Jadi pertama ada di perusahaan yang bikin core banking system. Jadi namanya Silver Lake, yaitu company dari regional. Jadi I build some of the core system of biggest bank in Indonesia gitu ya. Kayak misalnya ada BRI, Mandiri dan seterusnya. Jadi kayak misalnya sekarang I'm going back to Dana doing fintech, it's actually circling back to those like 20 years ago when I built core banking systems. And then moved to a local company yang heavily use teknologi Microsoft waktu itu, pakai .NET. I was really in love with that technology. Namanya Intimedia. So a few years there, software engineer, jadi arsitek, terus jadi principal architect, and become CTO in that company eventually. And then after that, I was invited to join Microsoft gitu. So I joined Microsoft di satu division namanya Developer and Platform Group. About 8 years di situ, and then when I was there ada teman yang ngajak, why don't we build a startup gitu. So this friend of mine, we built a startup namanya Loyalty Express. It's a digital loyalty systems. It's a marketing platform. It's a bootstrap. Kita cuma punya few engineers, few project guys, some sales. We got some traction. So I learned a lot from there gitu ya. And then there's another friend of mine yang asked me to join him and co-founded B2B e-commerce. Itu namanya Busy. And then we built that company. The team of engineer. I started with, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 guys. And then we grow 10, 15, 20, 50. And then we fundraise. Kalau yang ini venture back gitu ya. Terus we got some investor coming in, and then after a while, waktu itu kayaknya habis series B, I think maybe that was enough gitu ya. Terus I parted ways from that company, and then I didn't really do anything. I just want to chill and relax, reflect, asking what I really want to do in life gitu kan. Terus what makes me happy, terus what I really want to achieve. And then I talk to many people gitu. I talk to like almost all unicorns. I talk to some VCs. I talk to the giants kayak Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and all these guys to gauge gitu what I really want to do gitu ya. Then I meet Vince, and then Tina, and then the other C-level di Dana gitu. Terus I really like this crowd gitu, these guys gitu. I feel like I can hang out with these guys 10, 12 hours per day doing hard stuff and feel good and happy because vibe-nya very positive, non-political, terus really about create value, building value. Terus I really like misalnya Vince is a very technical CEO, not many in the country gitu kan. Terus he has a certain taste, he has vision gitu. He's a very visionary man. So I feel good gitu. Terus after I discussed with a lot of entities, I decided, I think that was in a shower, after olahraga lagi shower, and then I think it is Dana. I want to join Dana gitu ya.
So during the shower moment ya Pak ya.
And then
you get the idea.
I decided to join Dana. And then all of a sudden 3 years I'm here. I'm still happy and motivated. I'm still energized gitu ya. Terus there are still a lot of things to be done. So I'm super excited. My team juga, they are like super team, the tech team in Dana. Terus everyone in Dana, the Dana mates. So Yeah, I feel good. So we can even push the envelope forward.
Yes, gila. So your journey was very ini apa kayak maksudnya panjang kayak even you built one of your companies and then you you serve like it's like a downfall gitu ya Pak, but then you get back up and then now here we are.
I guess I'm pretty lucky to see the whole spectrum dari small company, bootstrap, until big multinational company. I don't know, 100,000 employees like Microsoft. So bisa lihat benang merahnya itu. Actually in these different companies in size and phases, apa sih yang sama gitu ya. Terus go back to my love to math.
Wow, cool. Okay, nah that was a short story about your career journey, Pak. How about do you believe in work and life balance? First, that's a question, and then if you do, how do you balance your work and life? Between work and life, sorry, yeah.
I think that statement for me, it's a ill-defined statement. There is no such thing as work and life balance because when you mention that, artinya work and life is a totally exclusive thing yang lepas satu sama lain. So it's either you work atau either your life, gitu kan. We are living in this world, living one life kan, with this body, with this mind, we live one life gitu. So life as a whole, and then within that set of life, there are things yang we do. Work is just another item atau things yang ada di dalam himpunan hidup itu, life.
This opens my mind.
Jadi, I think it's not about balancing work and life, tapi balancing work with rest, balancing work with self-development, balancing work with liburan, vacation, and a lot of these different things gitu ya. So it's about how you balancing your life, not work-life balance, tapi how you balancing all the things inside the himpunan of life yang you have. And work is just another item there, gitu kan. Dan for me, what do you actually want to do sih in this life, gitu ya? You just want to work, get rich, and then you don't want to do anything, pensiun dini, and you just want to chill. Is that really the life you want, gitu? Yang you just pensiun dini, chilling, doing nothing, gitu? Or work as something yang I need to do work because I want to be useful in society. I want to create impact, and I can do that if I do my work. And to support my work, I need to develop myself. I need to learn. I need to study. I need to get trainings. I need to take a rest yang enough so that my body is ready to do the work. I need to do healing. I need to do jalan-jalan, tamasya, refreshing, gitu kan. I need to eat well. So I need to manage everything there, and then so that I can really work and create something for the society, make yourself useful gitu. Because for me the idea of jadi kaya raya terus pensiun dini terus sitting doing nothing, chilling all day, I'm not sure that's the kind of life I want gitu kan. You look at like top artists gitu ya, bands or movie stars gitu kan. They're so rich gitu kan. They want apalagi sih in life, they can just chill gitu kan. Tapi look at Tom Cruise, how he came up with Top Gun Maverick gitu. He can just chill and doing nothing gitu kan. Tapi he wants to create something bigger than what he has created in the past gitu kan. He wants to deliver this to society. Artis yang bikin album baru. So bukan berarti kalau dia udah terkenal, albumnya laku, banyak duit, and then chill. Is that the life they want? No. They want to create new albums, they want to create new songs, they want to create new movies gitu kan. Terus kalau misalnya Asindana ya we want to be useful for the society. We want to bring the financial literacy to Indonesia, increase financial fitness of everybody gitu. Terus you got a chance to be useful in society gitu. So just do it. Everyone mungkin punya different opinion, but for me, chilling, doing nothing, not useful for the society, that's not the life I want. Tapi nggak salah juga kalau ada some people wants to do that, kan who am I judging gitu. It's up to anybody. It's just
yeah,
it's just not me.
Yeah, it's just not you. Exactly. I agree with you actually. So that's the meaning for work and life balance dari Pak Norman. Di Dana tadi kan kita udah tahu ya Bapak udah di sini selama kurang lebih 3 tahun ya Pak.
Yeah.
Nah mungkin apa arti Dana untuk Bapak tadi kalau misalkan dengar dari sebelumnya kan having a purpose gitu kan. Tapi mungkin di sini kita bisa ngobrol lagi gitu selama 3 tahun ini bagaimana Pak?
Yeah, it was a very interesting ride gitu ya. A lot of learning I learned during the last 3 years gitu. I think still a lot of learnings juga in the future gitu. Terus like I said, Dana give me that purpose, that give me that enthusiasm to wake up every day, come to the office, attack the day, try to be useful for my team, for XCOM, for Dana, for Indonesia, for the society. So yeah, that keeps my motor going gitu. So Dana helps me on that. Jadi I'm so grateful gitu. I feel blessed. I got this opportunity gitu karena many may not have this opportunity gitu ya. So and then things are not always easy. Things are hard. I make mistakes gitu kan. And then yeah, but it is what it is. We just have to learn. It's just one of the favorite quote yang I have is everybody has a plan until they got punched in the face. Gitu. Terus during my days in Dana, I have a lot of plans. I execute those plans. Some work, and some days I got punched in the face. So it happens. Tapi it doesn't matter kan. It's not about you just have to tough it out, being punched and then you just I'm okay gitu. Sometimes you get knocked down, you knock out, but it's about how you get up again, dust off, and go back on the attack again gitu. That is one of Dana value kan, resilience. So that's why a lot of things di Dana itu really resonate with my own values. That's why I feel good here gitu. So yeah, I'm thankful. I feel blessed. I got the purpose di Dana. Terus the team is just amazing. The whole Dynamites, the tech team, my direct reports, everyone in XCOM gitu ya. It's just wonderful gitu ya. It's not easy. But yeah, if it's easy, everyone will do it gitu kan. So that's what I believe gitu. Jadi I'm actually happy. If it's not easy, then only I can do it. Gitu.
Challenge atau achievement yang pingin Bapak lakuin sih di Dana?
This place give me a chance to be useful to society and to really create impact. Jadi I always tell my team gitu kan. Kita usernya sekarang mungkin about almost 120 million gitu ya. So any decision making I make every day in tech, it's either going to make 120 million people happy or not very happy. Gitu. So for the Indonesian, it's that financial inclusion, financial literacy, and financial fitness. Jadi kalau orang Indonesia doing transaction with digital gitu ya, terus they really understand the digital economics, terus they have that literacy, dia bisa atur keuangan yang lebih baik. When they do payment, they do more advanced financial services like insurance, investment, loans dan seterusnya. They can really increase their financial fitness. Nah, imagine 100 million Indonesian financial fitnessnya increased, kita jadi lebih makmur as a country gitu. And then I can tell my kids and my grandchildren, I took part in that.
Yeah. That's something that you can pass on ya Pak, maksudnya to your children and grandchildren. Wow, cool. Oke, nah mungkin untuk yang terakhir nih Pak, mungkin motivation quotes from...
tadi I talk about the motivations gitu, bahwa don't rely on motivations, karena motivations itu wear out, nggak stabil. It can be there, some days they are not there gitu. So you should rely on discipline instead, be in control. You're the one making decision of the choice you have to events atau to react to people gitu. So that. Tapi kalau mau di really summarize, I actually write a small article I posted in LinkedIn. You can just reach out, find me in LinkedIn, and I think I featured that article. So basically the central theme-nya adalah smart is not enough. So basically I talk about that karena I hear a lot when people say we should work smart, not work hard. Jadi being smart tuh over glorified gitu, bahwa work hard tuh di frown upon, kayak it's a toxic hustle culture, work hard is bad, you need to healing. Jadi we just really need to work smart. From my experience, I found out smart is not enough gitu. Jadi over and over again I was confirmed that smart is not enough. Itu apalagi di dunia yang sekarang when everybody is smart.
Yeah.
Terus information available di internet, everyone get access. Jadi smartness is a level of playing field. Nah, saat everyone equally smart, to win in the competition, to be really singled out from the crowd adalah whoever putting the hard work gitu. Nah, I think it's just people just too lazy to do the hard work gitu ya. Atau ya even maybe they don't even realize bahwa they also need to work hard karena ya itu over glorified, work smart. Tapi problemnya everyone work smart gitu. So yeah, you need to also work hard. And then it's not easy gitu kan. But again, kalau itu easy, everyone will do it.
Sometimes we have to push the limits ya Pak. Ya.
That. So sometimes we have a limit kind of the things yang we can do, and we cannot go push beyond that gitu ya. Kalau kita really push, bisa sakit, bisa mental health issues and so forth. So sometimes you want to flirt with your limit. So that push, and then you will be increased gitu. So
I guess that's how we do it. That's how Pak Norman do it. Oke, thank you Pak. Kita mau ucapin terima kasih untuk Pak Norman Sasono for this session ya hari ini. Dan topik ini memang menarik banget buat teman-teman yang mau meniti karir ataupun suka banget sama math dan mungkin mau belajar tentang physical engineering-nya. Tadi mungkin juga bisa terinspirasi dari seorang Pak Norman Sasono. Jangan lupa follow atau temenan sama Pak Norman di LinkedIn. Atau stalk LinkedIn-nya Pak Norman. Di situ banyak postingan-postingan dan quotes dari Pak Norman. Ini dia banyak banget ya pelajarannya di waktu senggang kali ini. Dan kita mau ucapin terima kasih buat teman-teman yang udah nonton. Kita mau ingetin lagi, pakai Dana itu dijamin bebas cemas karena transaksi kamu udah pasti aman, dijamin ada 100% uang kembali, lalu udah pasti dilindungi oleh Dana Protection. Oke, teman-teman, see you on the next episode.